If you are applying for the D7 visa, then you are going to need to get a criminal background check. This requires a few steps and it can get a little tricky. So today I'm going to be walking you through this process step by step, explaining all the details. I had a lot of requests for this video, so here it is. If you have a request for future videos, please let me know in the comments below. Welcome back. My name is Julia and I am an American. I have been living in Portugal since 2019. So some time has passed since I applied for the D7 visa, but I just did some fresh research to make sure that all of the links and the information I have is still up to date. And obviously I'm talking about the FBI criminal background check. So this is if you've been living in the United States for the last year, that's where you're going to be getting your criminal background check from. If you've been living in a different country for the past year, or you've lived in the US and another country, then for those other countries, you're going to need to check with the local authorities to get a background check from that location. So the first thing I would recommend is going to the FBI criminal background check website. On the website, it's referred to as the Identity History Summary Check. But don't get confused, that's what most people refer to as the FBI criminal background check. So you're in the right place. I have the link for that website in the description below, and I would definitely start there. Just take a glance to understand the process. So in order to get a background check, you're gonna need to have your fingerprints taken. So which part you start with first, either starting the request for the background check or starting the fingerprinting process, it's really up to you. In my opinion, it's better to go ahead and get your fingerprints taken, and then while those are in the mail to the FBI, you can go ahead and fill out the request for the FBI background check. I've heard a lot of people get this done at their local police station. When I was doing this process, I went to my local police station and asked about getting fingerprinted, and they actually directed me to another place, which was a permit office or something like that. So I think that a police station is still a great place to start, because if you can't get your fingerprints done there, they may be able to point you in the right direction. Now, I did know on the FBI criminal background check website, you can get electronic fingerprints done at a US postal office. I left a link in the description from that website specifically for the list of post offices if you want to consider that option. I didn't go with that option, so I can't tell you exactly how that would work, but it's something for you to consider. So when you go to get your fingerprints taken, wherever you've found the place that can do that, you're going to want to take a copy of fingerprint form FD258. This is the form where the fingerprints will actually be taken on, and you will also fill out some basic information on that form. Now, when I had my fingerprints taken, they actually already had this form and they had it on a cardstock, so it was better quality than the paper I brought, so I just used theirs. But I think it's good to have a backup form with you in case there's any issues. And to get my fingerprints done at the office I went to, it was around $10. So what is getting fingerprinted like? So they had me roll my fingers in some black ink. They had somebody there that knew how to do the fingerprints and rolled my fingers exactly how they had to be on the form, so it was really simple for me. What was a little frustrating was after you have to wash this ink off your hands, and it was like really on there. So they had like this very special soap and you had to sit there and rub it off. So just be aware that it can take some time to get the ink off, but don't be frightened. It comes off, no problem. I wasn't like walking out of the office with black fingerprints. So then once I got my hands clean, they gave me the card, and then I paid $10 at the checkout counter, and that was it. All in all, under an hour to get everything done. Then you take that card and you're gonna mail it to the FBI. And I have the address where you're gonna mail that to in the description below. So for me, I went ahead and sent this by USPS overnight mail just to make sure that I could accelerate the process as much as possible. Obviously that's a little more expensive, so just depending on the mailing option you choose, that'll depend on how much you spend and how long it takes for it to get there. But as soon as they get the fingerprints, you're in line to be reviewed for your FBI criminal background check. So you've gotten fingerprinted, you just sent it off in the mail, and now what you're gonna do is fill out the actual FBI criminal background request. So what you're gonna need to do is go to the FBI background check website, and you're gonna wanna submit your request online. And then there's an option if you wanna receive your FBI criminal background check only by email, or if you want to receive it by email and get a hard copy. And you're going to want to check get a hard copy, because you can only get the hard copy apostilled, which is the third part of this process, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But definitely make sure that you get the hard copy. So after you submit your request and they receive the fingerprints, it's going to take around 3 to 5 days to process the request, and then it's going to take some time for them to actually mail you the FBI criminal background check records. So when you're filling out the form for the request, you're going to need to include an email where you can reliably receive information. That's where they're going to send you the link to fill out the form, and that's where you're going to get a pin where you can check the status of your form. When you're filling out the form, on the question where it says reason for request, make sure you select live, work, or travel in a foreign country. Under the preferences, on the question where it says, would you like your date of birth to show on the report, make sure to put yes. This is really important where it says, would you like a hard copy response mailed to you? Make sure to hit yes. Do not forget to check this. When I did this the first time, I actually didn't check this, so I had to do this part twice, which is one of the reasons I'm so familiar with this process, and I hope that you can learn from my mistake. Don't miss checking that box. Read all of the questions and the things that you can select and make sure to select the right option. And then you're gonna need to select your payment. So on the website, it says that it's $18, and you can do that by credit card or PayPal or Amazon Pay. I don't know what that is, but they said you can use that. Okay, so you've gotten your fingerprints, you sent them to the FBI, you put in your FBI request, and now you've received your hard copy FBI background check report back to you. Hooray, you're almost there, kind of. So I have heard recently that if you don't open this hard copy FBI background check record, that you can actually use that for your D7 application. Now, I didn't do that, so I can't confirm whether or not that's true, but if you're in a time crunch, you might want to consider that. You definitely want to ask the consulate what their requirements are, because they are the ones who know best what they are going to accept or not. I know that it takes some time for them to get back to you, so as soon as you start thinking about applying for the D7 visa, please reach out to the consulate and ask them to send you what the requirements are. I know, at least for me, I emailed the DC consulate and they gave me a very thorough list of what I needed to send to them, and they were slow to respond. Like, it took them a couple of weeks, but they always got back to me. So I've mentioned a few times this Apostille thing, and you may have never heard of this because before I applied for the D7 visa, I had never heard of an Apostille. I'm not even 100% sure I'm saying that right, but anyway, the way that I can understand it is it's an international notary. It's a solution to make sure that documents coming from several different countries are truly authentic, and luckily, Portugal and the United States are the countries included in this, so getting an apostille is a simpler way for Portugal to be assured that a US document is truly authentic. If you aren't able to use the sealed envelope of the hard copy FBI background check and you need to get it apostilled, then what you're going to need to do is send the FBI background check report to the US Department of State. And the address that you're going to need to send it to is in the description below, but you're going to need to send a couple of extra things with that report. So you also need to fill out an apostille form. You're going to need to send payment for the fee to get it apostilled. And then you're also going to need to send a prepaid envelope so that once they apostille the document, they can send it back to you. I also sent a cover page just to summarize what was in the envelope that I sent to them, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. So the first thing is a completed request of authentication services form, and a link to that form is in the description below, but I just want to walk you through a couple of important pieces on the form. So section 1 is pretty simple because it's mostly just information about you, but under case type, make sure to put individual if you're getting your personal FBI background check apostilled. And then under section 2, again, if it's your report that you're getting apostilled, under are you submitting this form on behalf of another individual, make sure to put no. Section 3 is about the information for your prepaid envelope. Make sure to not use FedEx for your prepaid envelope. I know that you can select FedEx on this form, which I don't know why, I guess it hasn't been updated, but you cannot use FedEx. They will not accept that. I would recommend using USPS because that's what the website recommends, and that's what I used, and I had no problems. So under section 4, you're going to need to write the country for which you are going to send the apostille to. So Portugal in this case, if you're applying for the D7 visa to Portugal, which is what this whole video is about. So Portugal, and the number of documents, 1 if you have 1 background check that you're sending to them. Under type, you're gonna wanna select FBI criminal background record. And then under section 5, you're just gonna write 1 document and $8. Okay, so that's the DS1494 form that you need to send And the second thing is the document requiring authentication services. So in this case, the actual FBI criminal background check record that you received from the FBI. And then you're gonna have to actually include the payment, and I included a personal check for $8, and then one self-addressed prepaid envelope for them to return the Apostille document. So self-addressed, so make sure you write an address on there where you can receive this from, and then prepaid, so make sure to buy a prepaid envelope at a mailing service. Again, I use USPS, so I just asked them for a prepaid envelope. And the last thing is the cover page I mentioned. So I just used a typical business letter format, and I just stated what I was requesting. So I would like to get an apostille for my FBI criminal background check for applying for a visa to live in Portugal, something like this. And then I had a bullet list of everything that was included in the document. And so for all of this process, it took only 6 days from when I sent the request until I got it back. I was shocked because I have heard it takes way longer from so many people. So I don't know if it was just some magic or something for me, but it was really quick. Now, this wasn't the beginning of 2019, so the timing may have changed. And of course, right now it might be very difficult to get things done quickly, but if you do this, it may be faster than some other options. And again, it may even be possible to skip the whole apostille thing if the consulate you're working with will allow you to submit the sealed envelope. So what is the final product you're gonna receive back from the US Department of State? So you're gonna have your FBI criminal background check just like you sent it, but now it's going to have a cover page on it with a seal from the Department of State, and it's gonna have a metal grommet hooking that cover page into the rest of the report. It was super interesting. I've never seen a document like that. And so you're going to include that document in your D7 application when you submit that. So for this whole process, it took me about $36 plus the mailing cost, which it really just depends on what mailing service you used. Mine got quite expensive because I overnighted everything to accelerate the process. But like I said, I messed up on step 1 and got a little behind. So I hope you can learn from my mistakes. I hope it goes really fast for you. If you have questions about any of this process, please let me know in the comments below. If I don't have the answer for you, I'll try to provide a resource that has an answer for you or can lead you down the right track. This process, meaning not just the FBI criminal background check, but applying for the D7 visa, can be a little bit detailed, so I hope I'm providing you some information to save you some time. Unfortunately, things aren't always consistent, but I'll try my best to provide you accurate answers and send you to some good resources. If you found this information, please give me a like, leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for new videos. I'm making this content for you, so let me know how I can best help you in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for notifications to get notified when I post new videos. Thanks and ciao!